Hi everyone online, hi everyone in the room. Thank you for joining us for this presentation. So we've got three really interesting presentations coming up. We've got Martine Peters, who's going to do the first one, and then we've got Magic, second, and then we've got online, I think we've got Anna Albakina, I think she's online, as the third speaker. So I'm going to let Martine just introduce herself. I know Martine very well, I'm involved in this project myself. It's some really good work, and she's going to talk a little bit about the project itself and the partnership. So I'm going to hand over to you straight away. Where do you have to stand in order to, just checking, in order to be on camera?
Am I ready? I can be here? They can see me? Okay. I like to move around, but I guess I'm not going to be able. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about this international partnership program and project that we started about a year ago, April 21st, and just basically share what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what we're hoping to get from it. So this is basically what my presentation is going to be about. What is the PUC? No, partnership, I went too fast, but basically partnership on plagiarism, partnership on university partnership. God, I'm starting off badly, aren't I? Partnership on University Plagiarism Prevention. So the PUP project. And so I'm going to show you a little bit what our objectives were. A very, very short time spent on our theoretical framework. But most importantly, and I think that's the beauty of our project so far, is how do we work as a team? Because you'll see we're not a small team. And what we hope will come out of this project all in 15 minutes. You're going to show me the little things that say when
I can do, yes.
Okay, so basically,
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
the Canadian government has what is called a partnership program. And in this partnership program, there are 3 levels. When I first started in 2016, there were only 2. So we got, at that point, a Quebec group of researchers got together, and we got what was called the Partnership Development Grant. And so that's the baby partnership. And then we said, we did so well, we learned so much that we said we want to go on, and we want to go to the full partnership program. So in 2019, we got a bunch of researchers together, including a lot of people from NI, and we proposed, we put in an application for a partnership grant, and unfortunately, we were declined. We were not, we didn't get anywhere basically. So we talked about it. We said, what do we do? In February 2020, we said we're applying again. So we applied again. At this point, we limited it to 3 regions. So it's Canada, the States, and Europe. Europe being a little bit flexible because we're a little bit stretched out of bounds sometimes, but not. So this is a huge grant and it's in 3 different stages. So in June 2020, we got success. We passed phase 1. So we were really, really happy. And the Canadian government actually gives us $15,000 to prepare for phase 2. So you can imagine how big this thing is. So we wrote phase 2 proposal, and we all got together, those of us who could travel, but a lot of us online in August 2020. We all got together and we said, okay, how do we want to put together, what do we want in this proposal? A lot of it was already there because we had met before talking about what was in it. So in October 2020, we submitted our proposal for stage 2. There are only 25 projects that are available, that are asked to come to phase 2. Out of about 70 proposal every year, they bring it down to 25 in stage 2. I will admit at that point, because they tell you what your ranking is in stage 1. And I don't think I told everybody that, but I did tell you about that. We came in 24 out of 25. And they finance about 16. And this is humongous work to put together. And I thought, oh my God, am I going to do all this work and we're not going to get through? But we pushed ahead. And in February 2021, we get questions from the expert committee saying, please clarify this, this, and this. We have 1 week to write 3 pages, and we send it in. But what happened in between the time we started submitting and what happened in 2020, 2021 were, as horrible as it is, were a very, very good year for plagiarism because so many students plagiarized. It brought to the surface this humongous problem that we had before, but was not so much on the radar of everybody. So what happened was we passed, and we were in April 2021, we were financed by the Canadian government. So a little bit of numbers, because it gives you an idea of the size of this project. This is a 7-year project. It's financed for 7 years. There are 63 researchers and collaborators on our team. They are different categories, though we don't treat them that way. But researchers are obviously the professors that have a PhD, that have a full-time job in universities. Collaborators, we have a lot of librarians, academic people, support people, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of people that are accompanying us. Also, we have 2 student associations that are with us. So they're collaborators. And we have QAA, which is quality insurance assistance. We have 35 partners. The partner is not the team, but is actually the association or the university. And we're spread out over 10 countries. So as you can see, we are quite wide and varied. Basically, what we got for our 7-year project is $2.5 million from the Canadian government. In order to get $2.5 million, we need a certain percentage of that 2.5. So basically, the partners have to contribute to this project. So the universities and the associations all had to say, this is what we're going to contribute. And I'm talking about money here. And so it's very, very interesting to see that our 35 partners completely believed in this project, because we got $2.9 million worth of contribution from the partners. So we actually got more money. We had to raise $850,000 and we got 2.9 million. So that's huge numbers. So our theoretical framework, before I go there, I want to say we have basic premises, even though they've never actually been talked about like way. But we think as a group that plagiarism can be prevented. Otherwise, there's no point existing. We also think that a lot of plagiarism is caused by lack of knowledge. Our students don't know any better. They are surprised when they're sent to the discipline committee. And so we think that it's very important to train our students, but also to train our teachers, because our teachers are designing assessments where it's just too easy to teach. And so that's our basic premises. And we talk about 4 different dimensions in our theoretical model. We think teachers and students should be trained in informational skills, writing skills, referencing skills, and I'm not going to say plagiarism skills, but I'm going to say plagiarism knowledge, because we don't want them to learn how to plagiarize. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I want to show you a little bit what our theoretical model looks like. And so in yellow, we have all of the informational competencies. Within these competencies are 3 writing and referencing competencies. We have what we call digital scrapbooking strategies, because we think that what students and anybody who's writing is actually getting all kinds of information, putting them together, making a synthesis, adding their own opinion, and making up their text as they go. And so the round ones, the squares are the skills, and the round ones are what we call digital scrapbooking strategies. Obviously, at the top in pink is the writing process, because we're looking at plagiarism. So if you have more questions about that, you can meet me outside at the break. So I wrote a lot, but I'm just wanting you to pick out what we are specifically looking at. So in phase 1, basically for the students, we want to see what they're using, what they're doing, and what gaps there are. Because obviously, once we know what they don't know, we'll be able to act on it. As for the teachers, we want to know what they teach, because I remember I told you we had a partnership development grant in Quebec, and we asked, and we're asking the same questions again. We asked the professors, and if I bring back for a second we asked them, when they get to university, do you expect your students to have informational competencies that are where they're ready to start your class, writing competencies and referencing competencies? And we had more than 80% of the professors who said, I expect them to know this. And we asked the exact same questions from the students saying, do you expect to be taught these things while at university? And guess what? 80% said, yes, I'm expecting to be taught this. So we have this cleavage between what professors think they already know and what students want to learn. Of course, one of the, we can only hypothesis, but one of the problems that comes out of this is that students plagiarize because they don't have the knowledge necessary. Also, and this is important, so we're going to look at students and teachers, but what we're going to look is we're going to compare. Because we are going to have such a huge sample, we can compare between countries, between cultures, between programs, and we also we're working in French and English. We had to limit ourselves somewhere. We didn't in 2019, and I think that was one of the problems, but we're limiting our data collection to French and English. So we will have first and second languages. In second language, we included, we included foreign languages. In phase 2, because remember it's 7 years, so phase 1 is the first 4 years. Phase 2 is now that we know where the gaps are between student knowledge and what teachers are doing, we're going to elaborate pedagogical resources to be able to, and test them, pilot them in universities to see what we can offer as solutions to these gaps. So we also have, and I'm going to go really quickly, we also have knowledge mobilization and dissemination and co-production. So we're going to disseminate knowledge, create pedagogical material, because eventually we want to have validated and innovative pedagogical resources. How do we work as a team? Lots of Zoom meetings. Believe it or not, we had them before we even started. We work, like I said, in 2 languages. We have a partnership agreement, 298 pages. This is what we did in the last year, 58 clauses, and lawyers. Because of course we have a lot of things that we have to work with. I'll just show you, we also established a governance structure. So we do have a scientific committee, a mobilization committee, training committee, we have thematic committees, and of course we have an executive committee that's all over that. And then we elaborated a data management plan. Again, lots of pages. Almost everybody, the partnership agreement has been signed by all the partners. Data management plan is still sticking in some places, but almost done. But this is really important, and I think it's a first in international, in an international project that big, that we all agree on how the data collection will be done, how we will document, name data, share data, store it, safeguard it, and of course, adhere to all the ethics guidelines that we have, because everybody's going to go through ethics, 31 universities. And what do we hope will come out of this? Obviously, we hope that we will gain knowledge about what our students need. Obviously, we will always have students that plagiarize because they want to, but the ones that are lacking the knowledge to do better, we are hoping to help them, and are hoping to help the teachers teach plagiarism prevention. We're hoping to have training and resources, recommendations for our administrators, and obviously we're hoping to have a community of researchers that are passionate about academic integrity and that will continue to collaborate even after our project is done. That's it. That was my.
Thank you very much for keeping on time. That's brilliant. So, we have time for questions. Anyone's got any questions or comments? Yes, that's other.
These partnerships, have they already been established, or can new partnerships be formed?
The partnership is established. There has been question about whether or not we want to add partners. But as a partner, you have to realize, remember I said we collected a lot of money from the partners. So every new partner has to bring in his or her contribution.
Is there a set fee or
No.
is it just
No, we have, there are in-kind and in cash contributions. So we have universities that are very, very small. In Northern Canada, we have Indigenous universities, and they don't have any money, but they contributed saying, we will contribute spaces, we will contribute expertise. You cannot contribute your researcher's salary. That is not a SHRC, which is the funding agency, refuses that. So we are somewhat open, but already being 35, it's already a huge thing to manage. So the executive committee, if you are interested in proposing your university as a partner, well, you can send us a message, and we will. I will bring it to the executive committee.
But we are focusing on the three domains: Europe,
Yes.
Canada, and USA at the moment.
Yes.
And I know you're from South Africa, so you're. But it's interesting if you want to have a big project like this, we can certainly talk to you about how to set up.
How to set up.
To help you.
Because and if you find a Canadian partner, they can propose. They can propose it in Canada, because in Canada this is the biggest grant in human social sciences that you can have. That's the biggest one you can have. So that's it.
Any more questions? Yes.
A short question concerning the partners. Are within the partners also different types of universities, for instance, technical arts universities and so on?
I'm going to summarize. So for our online, the question was, are there different types of universities involved in the partnership?
We have many different types of universities. We have private and publics, and we also have religious universities. That was not a concern. When we recruited people, what we wanted was, we didn't really care about the partner, who's the university. What we wanted were team members that were going to be engaged and very much present and already interested in doing this type of research. So the university was just basically came along with the researchers that we picked.
So I'm sorry, there is one more question.
I can send them to you with pleasure.
So if you have any more questions for Professor Peters, you can talk to her. There's plenty of time in the conference to do that. So can we just end up with a round of applause?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.